Hello friends, this is Parcha. Welcome back to my channel Tech Stack. So today we are going to cover a very important topic which is functional interfaces. Functional interface is really very important and it used widely in Java 8. So today we are going to cover functional interfaces and the three well-known functional interfaces: predicate, consumer and supplier in Java. So agenda of today's call is we will cover what is functional interface in Java, how to invoke and how to create our own functional interfaces, and what is predicate, consumer, supplier interface in Java, and how can we easily deal with it. So we'll have a practical demo. So let's move towards our first topic, functional interfaces. What are functional interfaces? Functional interface is nothing but a normal interface, but it adheres one simple rule, which is a SAM, single abstract method. Okay, so the interface should have at least only one abstract method. It should not have more than one or less than one. It should have at least one abstract method. It can have one or more default method. It can have zero or more static methods. It can have zero or more default or zero or more static methods. We are not once worry about default or static method, but it should have at least only one abstract method. If it adheres the rule, then we can annotate the interface using a @function interface, which was introduced in Java 8. The well-known interfaces which are a functional interface already in Java are runnable, comparable, and comparator. Okay, runnable has only one abstract method, which is run, and comparator has one abstract method, which is compare to. So let's have a quick demo. So I move to Eclipse. I have mentioned this slide and the code in the description where you can download and easily can play with the code. So here I have defined one functional interface, my functional interface. Okay, I have annotated using my @function interface because it has only one abstract method, which is method1 underscore abs. It has one default method, method2 underscore default. It has one static method, method3 underscore static. Now if I uncomment this particular method, then it will start throwing the error. The error is invalid functional interface annotation. My functional interface is not a functional interface because it does not adhere the same single abstract method rule. Now here, if I comment this particular interface method, then it has only one abstract method, so it works fine. Now I want to implement this particular interface. Then in a legacy way, we can define a particular class, functional interface ampl, and just I override a method. It's simple. It's a legacy way, and I can call that particular. Now this is a one more class, functional interface demo, where I have mentioned the static main method, and I have just created this particular instance of the interface, and I'm calling the abstract method. I'm calling the default and I'm calling the static method. So this is the legacy way to call the functional interface. Okay, so it calls my abstract method implementation, which is functional interface ampl method1 abs is invoke. This is okay. Now it also called the default and static method. Now if I want to implement using the lambda way, then it is also simple. In lambda, okay, let me show you how can we write a lambda expression. So the beauty of functional interface is we can easily write a single line of code. We don't have to write any kind of boilerplate code like I have to create a class, I have to implement the interface. No, we don't have to do all those things. What we just need to do is I just need to define my interface i2 equal to, and then I just need to provide the implementation of my method. Now how to write a lambda? Okay, now here we are implementing the method using a lambda expression. So if I want to write a lambda for any implementation, what we can do, we just implement one method, right? So in lambda we don't need method name. Okay, we don't need return type, we don't need public modifier, so I'll just delete it. So what is left is the input. Now here the input is nothing, so if the input is integer, then I can mention integer I. Okay, if the input is employee object, then I can mention employee e, anything, right? Whatever the input is. Here the input is nothing, then arrow which shows it's a lambda expression, and then a two curly brace, okay, with semicolon, which shows it's a implementation method body. Okay, I don't have to write any method name of the method, anything. I just need to write the implementation within a curly brace. Okay, so this is how we can write the lambda expression. So same thing I have written here, input, then arrow, and the implementation. Implementation is lambda MPL, method 1 is invoke. Okay, and I2 dot method 1 dot abs. So how it knows it's a method 1 dot abs implementation, because there is only one abstract method. So obviously the implementation belongs to this particular method 1 underscore abs only. Now if I call it, it will call the lambda MPL, method 1 abs is invoke. Okay, now let's go to one more demo. Now here what we are doing is, now here we have defined, again I have one more class, okay, function interface demo 2, which is a main method. In a main method I have written one function to get all the books. So this particular it returns a list of books, okay, list of book which is a book of ID. Okay, let me go to definition of book, function of, okay, so book has an integer ID and a string name. Okay, so I have defined, just a minute, let me increase the brightness. Okay, so I have defined the book ID 1 2 3 4 5 6 and book name core Java, Java, Spring Boot, Hibernate, REST API, and Java. Okay, so I just get the list of books, and then I just print the list of books which I have. Now I want to sort the particular books within a descending order, descending with a book name. Okay, so the ZAVA should print first. Okay, so what I did, I just write up a custom class and implement using a comparator interface, comparator of book. Okay, and there is a compare method, book 1 and book O1 and book O2, and I just write an expression which will do a on the name. Okay, I write an expression to sort descending by book name. So O2 is my book object, so O2 dot name, which is a book name, compared to O1 dot name. So this logic will do a descending sorting. If I write O1 dot name dot compare to O2 dot name, then it will do a ascending sorting. Okay, so I just create one simple class. And in collections, now as you know, collections is a utility class to do the custom operation or sorting and reverse operations on my any collection object. Okay, so I use that collections dot sort. I pass the list of array books, and then I pass the new class which I implement, new book descending sorter comparator, and then I just iterate. So if I now if I run this particular class, okay, let me run it. Then the initial input was core Java, Java, Spring Boot. Okay, and the output is Java, Spring Boot, REST API, Java. So it's basically Z, S, R, and J. Okay, it's sorted by descending order. So this was a normal implementation. Now how can we convert into lambda expression? So as we know, comparator is a functional interface. So instead of writing all this boilerplate code, I can directly go and directly write collections.sort list, and then I can, in the second argument will be comparator, right? So I just implement the method which I have written below. I just convert the implementation into my lambda expression. Okay, so lambda expression, I just give the two input, book B1, book B2, then arrow, and I just implement, I just write the body. Okay, return B2 dot name compared to B1 dot name. Okay, and I just and then I just iterate through the book list. So now if I run this particular class, let me run it, and the output will be same. Okay, descending book sorting using lambda expressions. So here we have done it through lambda expressions because it was a function interface comparator. So we just implement using the function interface, and the output is Z, S, R, J, H. Okay, now let's move towards our next topic, which is a consumer. Now as we understood what is functional interface and how can we write our own functional interface, now Java has its own functional interfaces. The three of the new interfaces which we widely use in Java Stream API are the consumer, okay, consumer, predicate, and supplier. Now consumer is nothing but it's a simple interface which has only one abstract method called accept. So it basically accept a particular type T, okay, and we can implement the interface the way we want. So the trick to remember is just from consumer, the word says consume. So it basically consumes something, it takes something, it does not return anything. Okay, now if I go to a consumer demo, so I created one more class. Okay, so I just created one list with integer value 81256. Okay, now as I told you, consumer is a simple interface which has only one method, accept. So if I want to implement that accept method, how can I implement? It's again a simple Java way. Consumer of integer, I just write one more consumer one, okay, which takes something, right? Here it's an integer type, so it takes integer. So I can specify here integer also, or if I don't specify, they both are same, right? Integer I, and just I write the implementation of accept method. So here this is the implementation of accept method. System.out.println consumer prints, okay, and then I call this particular consumer one.accept 5000. So what it should print? It should print consumer prints then 5000. Okay, yeah, it prints that. Now in stream, now as we know, each collection object, okay, here our collection object is list. Now list, each collection object from Java 8, they have introduced a method called stream, which will convert our collection object into stream of object. So I can say list of one dot stream, okay, and then for each is a method which in Java Stream API, which takes consumer as an input. Okay, so I can give my own consumer also. If I go to the demo, I can give my own consumer, which was consumer one, okay, and it prints each object as consumer prints, and then the list, the integer variables 81256. Or I can directly give the lambda expression also, anything is fine. List one dot stream for each, and I can give my own lambda expression, something I as an input, and the implementation is, it's a single line, right? So we don't have to write this curly brace and all those things. If it's a single line, we can avoid this curly brace. System.out.println consumer lambda prints. So here it prints consumer prints and then number. Here I have given the implementation as consumer lambda prints. Okay, so it should print, I don't know why the shortcut is not working. Shift X. Okay, so first it prints this one. Okay, so it prints all the list of object, and then it prints this one, which, so it iterates one more time with init print using our own lambda expression. Now let me go to the second topic. I hope it's easy to understand. Second topic is predicate. Predicate is nothing but a simple interface again, where each has only one method called test. So if I go to definition of predicate, okay, let me go, okay, one, that's fine. Now predicate is a interface, it's a functional interface introduced in Java 1.8. It has only one method, test. Now test method takes some input and returns something as boolean. So I need to write some condition where it returns a boolean value, true or false. Okay, so if I go to my demo, just a minute. Okay, so predicate takes something as input, and we have to just return a boolean expression. Okay, return true or false. So what I did, I create a predicate of long. So it takes some long as an input parameter, and then I just write one condition, num modulo 2 equal to 0, return true. What it means, it is, if this condition satisfied, it is an even number, otherwise it's an odd number. Okay, so this is nothing but an implementation of our method test. Test is a method within a predicate, so we just implement using a lambda expression. Okay, as we saw, test is a method within a predicate, and we implement using a lambda expression. Okay, now if I want to call this predicate again, like I just write 5 is even or not, predicate 1.test 5, I just give input as 5, so it will take 5, and then it will implement, it will execute this method, 5 modulo 2 equal to 0, no, it will return false, so 5 is not even. For 6, it will execute this particular piece of code, because 6 modulo 2 is 0, so it will return true. Similarly, now in stream API, if I say stream, and then filter. Filter is a method which takes input as a predicate. Okay, this takes input as a predicate because it has to filter some whatever the input we have given, right? It's a list of integer, right? List 1 is nothing but a this list of integer which is 81256. Now out of 81256 I just want to filter out the odd numbers, then I will just use my predicate which I have just written, right? So I have written in lambda way num, which is my long, okay, or integer here. Num is an integer here, and then I just pass this particular condition, return num modulo 2 equal to 0. If it satisfies, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. If it return false, okay, then it will filter out those particular values, and the for each will only get the even numbers. So let me run and let me show you the output. Java application, and now, okay, so even numbers are 8, 2 and 6. Okay, it filter out this 1 and 5, right? The input was 81256 and the final output is 8, 2 and 6 only. Okay, now the last one is supplier. Supply is again interface, as the word says supplier, so it supplies something. Okay, so we can, it's a easy trick to remember. Supplier is a interface, it supplies something. So basically there is only one method called get. It does not take input, it just return output. It was introduced in Java 1.8. Okay, it's a single abstract method, that's why we can enter it with a @function interface. Now supplier, I can write my own supplier, like supplier of integer. The input is nothing, the output is, I can give any output which is return 0. Now it's a here it's integer, so I have to return integer only. Okay, I just print like supplier 1 dot, this is the implementation of get method, okay, through lambda expression. So supplier 1 dot get, it will give me 0. Now what is the usage? In stream we have a method called find any. What does find any will do? If my array has any object, then it will give me that first object which is available in the list. If there is no object, suppose this array list is 2 is empty, so there is no object, in that case it will execute this or else get. Okay, now or else get will just return me the default value. Now here or else get has this particular or else get method takes supplier. If I go to or else get input, it takes the supplier as input. Okay, so I can just return my any default value. So supplier is used to return any default value. Okay, so let me iterate one more time. Array list of 2 dot stream, as you know array list of 2 is empty, so if there is any value, it will find any, will return me the first available value. If there is no value, then it will go to or else get and it will execute this supplier. Now this supplier 1 is nothing but it will return 0. So basically if there is no object, it should return 0. Okay, let me run this particular piece of code. If you see, it returns 0. Okay, I just print the same thing, list is empty, so the value return type the supplier is 0. Okay, just to understand in more easier way. So friends, we cover all the so today we cover functional interface. Okay, so if I quickly recap, it should adhere the principle of single abstract method. It can have default method or it cannot have default or static method, we can ignore it. Okay, so the well-known functional interface are runnable, comparator, comparable, and the 3 newly introduced is predicate, which has only one predicate. Okay, consumer, which only consumes something, so it takes something, it returns nothing. Okay, it has a method called accept. Second one is predicate, it has a method called test, which takes something and return as boolean. And third is supplier. So I hope you like today's lecture. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.